If only I could buy time, just a little more time, James whispered, watching his daughter sleep peacefully in the hospital bed. Her tiny fingers gripped her teddy bear. Emma was only 6, but the battle she fought daily against congenital heart disease made her seem older, braver, and somehow more fragile than the world deserved. James Evans had never imagined himself cleaning toilets in a towering corporate skyscraper. But life had a way of tearing dreams down like sandcastles too close to the tide. After losing his wife in a car crash 2 years ago, James quit his decent-paying job to care for Emma full-time. But now her surgery was approaching, and so was the mountain of bills that came with it. That's how he found himself here, standing in the marble-floored lobby of Greystone Enterprises, a billion-dollar tech company, holding a mop bucket, a janitor's badge clipped to his second-hand coat. No one noticed the cleaner. No one ever did. Except her. Charlotte Gray, the CEO. She was powerful, poised, and rumored to be cold-hearted, known for firing entire departments if numbers dipped by even a fraction. But what they didn't know was that Charlotte's silence hid grief. She'd buried her younger brother, also named James, after a drug overdose, and the guilt haunted her every breath. That's why she built this company, to give people a better life through technology, but even billions couldn't buy peace. On his third night shift, James worked late wiping down the executive floor. He hadn't realized someone else was still there until he heard a soft gasp. He turned around, mop in hand, to find Charlotte kneeling in the hallway, her phone on the floor, hands trembling. Her breathing was shallow, too shallow. "Ma'am, are you all right?" he asked gently, stepping forward. Charlotte tried to wave him off, but her face turned pale. "Panic attack," she whispered. Without thinking, James guided her to sit, told her to breathe in rhythm with him. His voice was calm, steady, a voice she hadn't heard since her brother died. She didn't know why, but she followed his voice like a lighthouse in fog. And just like that, the storm passed. "You okay now?" he asked, handing her the bottle of water he carried in his old janitor's cart. She took it with shaking hands, looking at him, really seeing him for the first time. "You're new?" she asked, regaining her composure. He nodded. "Started this week. Name's James." A pause. "Thank you, James." He smiled kindly. "No problem. Happens to the best of us." That moment passed like a blink, but it changed everything. Over the next few weeks, they kept running into each other. Sometimes late at night when the building was empty, sometimes by chance when he was cleaning the break room and she was making her own coffee instead of sending her assistant. She started asking questions: how was his day, what music he liked, why he always looked tired. One night, he quietly told her about Emma, about the surgery, the bills, the impossible odds. Charlotte said nothing at first, just listened, really listened. Her CEO mask slipped each time they spoke. One night, as James was finishing mopping the corridor outside her office, she stepped out holding a paper bag. "You probably haven't eaten," she said. He blinked, surprised. Inside the bag was a warm sandwich and apple juice, Emma's favorite juice. He smiled shyly. "Thanks. You didn't have to." "I know," she said. "But I wanted to." Wordlessly, a friendship blossomed. Quiet. Honest. Real. But the whisper started. Staff noticed. The CEO speaking to the janitor? The man who wore scuffed shoes and lived in the shadows of the building? James began feeling the pressure. One morning, a supervisor cornered him. "Look, man, I don't know what you're playing at, but the CEO doesn't talk to janitors. Keep your head down." James wanted to scream, "I'm not playing anything." But instead, he swallowed it. Emma needed this job. He couldn't afford pride. That evening, Charlotte found him scrubbing the stairwell with more aggression than necessary. "Rough day?" she asked. He hesitated, then looked up. "Why do you talk to me?" She blinked, confused. "Because I want to. I'm a cleaner, Charlotte. And I'm a woman who knows what pain looks like," she said softly. "Your eyes remind me of my brother's, before I lost him." There was silence. Then James, in a quiet voice, "He must have mattered a lot." "He did. And I couldn't save him. But maybe I can help someone else." 1 week later, Emma's condition worsened. The doctors said the surgery had to be moved up. The cost? Astronomical. James sat outside the hospital, head in his hands, when Charlotte called. "Where are you?" she asked. Hospital, he choked out. "They need the money now, Charlotte." "I'm coming," she said and hung up. 15 minutes later, a sleek black car pulled up. Charlotte ran toward the entrance, ignoring her guards, ignoring the press, ignoring the world. She found James in the pediatric wing, his face streaked with silent tears. "I don't know what to do," he whispered. Without a word, she knelt beside him, took his hand, and held it tight. "You don't have to," she whispered back. "Let me." Emma's surgery went ahead, paid in full by an anonymous donor. But James knew. And so did every nurse who saw Charlotte Gray sitting silently in the waiting room for 10 straight hours beside a janitor. When the doctors came out and said the words, "She's going to be fine," James broke. Tears rolled down his face as he slumped against the wall in relief. Charlotte caught him before he fell. The company buzzed with gossip. The board questioned her judgment. "You can't risk the company's image," one executive warned. "People are talking." Charlotte stood slowly and replied, "Then let them talk." She handed in her resignation the next day, without a word to James. He returned to work only to be told she was gone. Just gone. He tried calling. Nothing. He felt foolish. Maybe it was pity all along. A rich woman easing her guilt on a janitor's back. But then, 2 weeks later, there was a knock on his apartment door. He opened it to find Charlotte standing in the hallway in jeans and sneakers, holding a grocery bag and a teddy bear. "I quit," she said simply. He blinked. "Why?" "Because I want to live a life that matters, James. And maybe that means living it with you and Emma. If you'll let me." James stood frozen. For so long, he believed people like her lived in towers too high to reach. But here she was, stepping down, stepping toward him. "You sure?" he whispered. Charlotte smiled. "I've never been more sure." He let her in. Emma, now healing and vibrant, ran toward her. "Miss Charlotte," she squealed, hugging her leg. Charlotte laughed, lifting the girl into her arms. "I brought gummy bears," she said. From then on, their home was not just filled with second-hand furniture and scraped-together meals, but with laughter, music, and a love that healed more than illness. James walked across a park lawn in a crisp suit, holding Charlotte's hand. Emma ran ahead, chasing butterflies. He looked at Charlotte. "You saved us," he whispered. "No," she replied, eyes twinkling. "You saved me. Because love doesn't ask for resumes or titles. Sometimes it finds you in the break room. Sometimes in the quiet of a hospital waiting room. And sometimes while holding a mop in one hand and hope in the other. Speech balloon: no job is too small. No heart too broken. Love sees beyond titles and finds us when we least expect it, in our lowest moments, with the most unexpected people.